Welcome to the UnderMike show with Sam. How you doing?
Wonderful. I'm adjusting my chair. I felt like I was shorter than you on the screen. I want to be bigger.
I can sit up straighter.
What's going on? It's another. I mean, the XFL. Maybe we should just eliminate the NFL.
Yes.
XFL only.
Hey, we're undefeated, so it doesn't get any better than this. We're coming up to week 3 now. We've had a good first 2 weeks, 3-0 on the XFL.
Yet to give out a loser.
I don't know. I hit my first under last week on the Houston. And that was funny. You mentioned that they actually posted the score wrong, and you thought it lost.
Yeah. I was following on the XFL app, and the XFL app had the wrong score up for most of the game because the total was 40.5, and the final was 23-14. The XFL app had 27-14. They had 27-14 on the top part of the scoreboard, and then beneath had 23-14. I just assumed the higher score was right, and they just missed updating it somewhere. But it turned out that no, it was the lower score was correct, and thus UnderMike takes another one down. So
yeah, that was funny because I saw there was some wind in Houston, and I wasn't really paying attention to the game itself. I saw it was 14-11 at halftime, I believe, so it wasn't looking great. So I actually didn't even check until the next day, and you were completely shocked when I said that that's a victory for us. So
yeah, because you stopped following you halftime. You thought you lost. I just thought you lost because I was following and they had the wrong score. So both pleasantly surprised. So you hit your first XFL. Of course, it's an under. UnderMike is now 25-9 with a 15 plus 1 units overall. So that's pretty impressive. And that counts everything. That's not just XFL because XFL you have no losses, but 25-9 plus 15.1 units. So then we rolled into we go to my pick and I might just be the greatest XFL handicapper of all time. That'll probably cause a loss this week, but I don't care. I'm 2-0. The Brahmas rolled.
Wasn't even close.
Yep. That was a 1 unit play, brings me to 18-11 on the year, plus 10.2 units. I'm catching up to you a little bit. I'm down less than 5 units. So that's exciting.
Good race going.
So that's
up against Mr. fucking XFL here.
That's fun.
Limited games for me. There's only 4 at most a week where we can play unders. So we'll see how that ends up. But anxious to see who's in the lead at that point at the end of the XFL. Yeah,
25.3 units combined. I have our XFL record 3-0 plus 4 units. That's included in the other units, but hey, it's going to try and keep this gravy trainer rolling. So that's let's talk a little bit about the other side. Some of the things I gave out last week, though, on the DFS picks.
Yep.
Not as good as the gambling picks, but it's a much tougher thing, especially in the XFL to project. So let's just put it up here. Last week, and I called him last week, something that I called him like locks and difference makers. I've decided it's just easier if we stick with locks and pivots. And I'm going to shoot, again, for the pivots to be lower percent owned. But recap last week real quick here. Brandon Silvers was 8,600 we have here. And he ended up scoring 16.22, so he didn't kill you. He was 38% owned, so very high owned. But again, there's only 8 quarterbacks that really people are going to draft. So 8,600, 16.22, didn't kill you, didn't win you anything in terms of like, hey, that guy's going to be a difference maker, but wasn't terrible. Plitt, 8,000, he scored 13.2. He was only owned by 4.39%. So if he would have went off and he didn't score poorly, 13.2 is not bad in this league. Could have been big. The best play at quarterback, which was where those spots were, Jack Cohn scored 22.9 for 8,200. So in the same range as these guys. and he was only owned by 4.59%. So very similar to Plitt, just outperformed him. So I don't feel too bad about those picks there. I think we were in the right direction. The next ones, oh my God, this was brutal. So I had Kalen Balaj at 7,100, and then if you're looking at a pivot to Jacques Patrick, 5,900. So they, for the first time, first week they ran real well. This week they did not. They threw the ball like crazy, threw it well, but did not run well. Balaj did get a lot of work, but just couldn't do anything with it. He scored 2.3 points, and he was 36% owned.
Wow.
Balaj scored 1.9 points and was only 3% owned. So again, I do like the ownership there on Patrick, 3%. It's funny. So they got a rushing touchdown and they gave it to their third string running back, Hillman.
Wow.
So we almost could have got bailed out. If either one of those guys got a touchdown at 8.3 or 7.9, those scores aren't bad in this league, but it didn't happen. And, those picks did not work. I'll have some DFS picks a little bit later for this week for you. Again, we're just going to simplify, call it locks and pivots. But yeah, I will have some picks later. Let's go to you this week, the XFL weather outlook.
All right. Thank you, Sam, for the recap. So we got 4 games again. Both of the Dome teams are away again for the second straight week. There is going to be one play this week. I was checking it right before the show started here. Out in Vegas, we're looking at a 15 to 25 mile per hour wind at the start of the game. And that's, again, you were just out there.
Weather's been crazy.
Weather issues at the last game. It was mentioned on the show. I didn't officially play it. But yeah, that field it's a smaller stadium, smaller field there. I think the wind's going to be blowing through there pretty good. It's going to be a little bit tough to throw. So we're going to take that under. It is currently the best at 38.5 on DraftKings at the regular juice.
So that's your
1 unit play for us.
Official UnderMike XFL play of the week. Vegas under 38.5 at DK minus the 110. So see
the other games are looking fine weather-wise. The Texas games, there is some wind in the forecast. It's right now about 10 to 15. If anything would tick up, I'll pay attention to that as the week goes on. But for now, this is going to be Vegas under 38.5, my play for the week.
All right. I'm going to take a look at it. I'm going to get into why I'm going to need to take a look at it because it does coincide a little bit with my DFS picks, but that maybe might scare me off some of these DFS picks. So I'll throw in my play as well. Now, we did release this on your Twitter account.
Yes.
And you did a YouTube short. I sent this to you earlier in the week. It was 9.5 at MGM. I just checked right before the show. It's not there anymore. I've seen 8s and 8.5s. So again, I'm going to scroll it across the screen, say it all the time. You got to follow UnderMike 626, add the alerts. You can follow me as well, but we're going to use UnderMike 626 for, our breaking plays and bets. And also follow even if you follow the YouTube, you'll get the push notification that this guy's just done a video, and I believe he did a short. It was I saw.
Yeah, it was like 40 seconds.
And right now you're sitting there. Yeah.
Usually it's me with that line movement you got to watch out for, but every once in a while, Sammy throws one in there early, and
this is I was thinking about making this a 2-unit play. I'm only gonna do one, but and I'll put it up here. I am adding 0.25 unit play on the game. Guardians money line. Okay. This I've seen all over the place. So I would say shop around for the best. I'm not going to list the 4 different ones, but with the line that I'm going to use is just to stay consistent. I'll use what MGM has right now since we didn't put out the play before. It's plus 310.
Okay.
MGM. I believe you can get a better pricing that, shopping around, but we'll use plus 310 Guardians quarter unit on the money line.
Okay.
That's your XFL right there. Mine, like I said, is the Guardians that was released on YouTube and Twitter. Here's quickly on this game, because people are gonna be like, if they're they watch the show, like, this guy's picking the worst team by far in the XFL.
I've been looking forward to the explanation ever since you told me.
This league,
these are like the suckiest bunch of sucks that ever sucked.
They play. There's 2 games. It's the XFL, okay, and I watched like a lot of this game the other week, like almost all of it, and I enjoyed what the coach had to say after the game when he was like, do you think you did anything well? And like, what can you build on the positives? Like, they're trying to like let him put a positive spin on it, and he was like, nothing. And he was just like, and that tells me like at least he's a no nonsense kind of guy. And I think they're going to come out and they're going to be ready to play. Their issue is, I don't understand. They keep trying every quarterback they have. Paxton Lynch is not good, but he's by far their best option. Play Paxton Lynch the whole game. They keep rotating him in and out. There's no rhythm. They tried for week 1. They went with Dormandy. He came in. He threw a long touchdown pass, but he wasn't even active this week. And DeAndre Francois was active, and he split time, and he is and was atrocious. I think his longest completion was like 4 yards. Mine had like 9 attempts for like 8 yards. It was horrendous. Play Paxton Lynch, live or die to the fact that he is kind of a statue in the pocket. And I think they're the team that's going to come out fired up here and wanting to count themselves better. I also like a little bit here that when I put it out, that's why it's important. 9.5. People say, well, what the hell's 9.5? In the XFL, 9.5 is a key number because 9 is a touchdown. 6 plus you can get the 3-point conversion. Mm-hmm. So late in games, like let's say the Guardians are down, which everybody thinks they're going to be, and let's say they're chasing. Well, if they score, they're pretty much going to play to get it to 9. They're down 18, they're going to go for the 3 points to cut it to 9. If they're down 16 and they score, they might just try to take the 1 to cut it to a 1-possession game. At worst, so there's a lot of things going on there. If we're down 12, they'll kick the field goal to cut it to 9. So I think that's big, that getting that 9.5. Like I said, if it's out there 8.5 still, I'm not saying 8.5. I would definitely still lean towards playing 8. Maybe let it go. The value's not there, but I do like this play. So the worst team in the XFL by far, getting the 9.5, and we're throwing a quarter unit on that money line. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
So let's quickly jump into XFL picks for this week for DFS on DraftKings. I'll throw them up right here. First lock, my Orlando Guardians. Cody Latimer. He's a wide receiver / tight end. So you can play him in that spot. Orlando, 4,100. Of the guys that have shown up, and like you can't say he hasn't. I mean, week 1, 5 catches, 68 yards, touchdown. Week 2, 5 catches, 21 yards, touchdown. So he's got 5 catches both weeks, a touchdown both weeks. Quarterbacks in this league love big targets, just because most likely they're not the most arm talented guys. So the big guys give them a little bit more leeway in terms of how high or wide they can throw it. And Arlington, who they're going against, that I picked against, has given up 5 pass touchdowns in the first 2 weeks. So I like Cody Latimer for 4,100. My other lock, and this maybe is a little bit of a surprise, coming in the year, this guy was probably projected to be the number 1 or number 2 wide receiver in the league. Martavis Bryant, he's on Vegas. Couple factors here why I like him. One, he has a ton of talent. He was on the Steelers, if people remember back in the day. He had an amazing, very, very short run there, and then marijuana got him out of the league, which is kind of dumb in my opinion. Shouldn't be a thing you lose NFL career over, but whatever. So he's not done much so far, to be honest, with Vegas. But last week they said he was sick during the week and might not play. I believe he played a little bit in that game. And that, like I said, the conditions were really bad last week. The field was really bad. So I like him to bounce back this week, maybe get a little something going. Now hearing you with the weather, maybe you tread a bit more lightly and maybe you go with one of my pivots here. So pivots are
good segue.
back to Orlando. Charleston Rambo. Okay. Wide receiver, 8,400 coming into the year. He was probably projected to be their number one wide receiver. And again, if they just stick with Paxton Lynch and deal with the fact that, he's not mobile, but he's definitely better than the other two guys. He could get it going. And I think, like I said, pivots, I think he's going to be low owned based on he hasn't done much so far. But I think Orlando is going to put up some points this game against Arlington. So I like Rambo as a pivot. And then maybe you pivot to this gentleman in the Vegas game. Some other pivot is John Lovett. Now, the running back spot has been ugly in the XFL. There's Max Borgai, who I gave out the very first week we did this as a good play. He's pretty much the known commodity because he gets a lot of pass catches. Last week, the number one scorer, I believe, was the DC Defenders running back, who, again, I talked about the first week of the show. But I'm going John Lovett, and here's why. So he's a pass-catching running back, but typically if the weather's bad, maybe they go to a short passing game, and Lovett is the guy that has turned short passes into big gains, both professionally. He had a 20-some yard game last week and in college. So I don't think he's the type of running back that gets a ton of rush touches, but with the running back spot being a mess, only 5,000, especially maybe if the wind's kicking a little bit, they can't throw deep. Maybe they throw a bunch of short passes to Lovett, try and get him in space. So I like him as a low owned pivot as well. So those are the DFS selections. There's a $15 tournament this week for $150K total. So check those out. But that's what I have on the DFS front.
Okay. Looks good.
But how is XFL? I mean, I'm telling you, the niche leagues are the ones where if you really put in your work, you watch, you read, you can pick up some stuff in terms of, who you like and who you're picking. And again, this week, I think the Guardians are the play. I was keeping track of a few other games. I don't think I'm going to put out another pick. If I do, I'll send it to you and release it on Twitter. But I think I'm sticking with what I got. And, maybe we get the win on my end, maybe not the money line win as well. We give a little bit back to the book there. We feel bad for them. We're taking all their money.
I like it. Let's keep it going. Do you have anything else?
No, just for these folks that come by any of our shorts or our videos on YouTube, subscribe again to Widener's Weather Wagers. We're going to be talking soon. We got some things coming up for you guys. We were talking about what? Did you change it? What is it now?
I actually changed it to the UnderMike show.
To the YouTube channel?
Yeah.
All right. Well, then let me remove this.
I'm trying to keep it simple. I just forgot to tell you.
So the YouTube channel is now just the UnderMike show. And that's good because I was going to mention that we're going to be having a Facebook page as well. That'll be the UnderMike show.
Works.
Yeah. So that's something exciting. And we are working on our plans for a giveaway. It's going to involve Twitter and that YouTube channel. So, get on there and subscribe because I know we're going to make subscribing one of the parts of this giveaway that you have to do, and then we'll randomly select a winner. So make sure you do that. I just put up on the screen now the new YouTube channel. So it should scroll across the bottom. Still got the UnderMike 626. Subscribe at YouTube, the UnderMike show. So
there we go.
I like it. I like it because it really is. It really is the UnderMike show because we're not just talking weather wagers. Even without DFS, my picks generally aren't weather related. So I think sums it up. The UnderMike show sums it up perfectly. So yeah, I like that moving forward.
Yeah.
So,
yep, I think that's good. So, yeah, that's all I got. Keep
all
an
right.
eye out, of course, on the Twitter for the what Sam mentioned there on the promo, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's all I have too. We'll see you guys soon.
All right. See you next week.